Hello YouTube, Uncle Lucky here, and welcome back to another episode of CBQ Hobbies. Today we're going to do a retrospective of the video game Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning. This game is the brainchild of 38 Studios, which was led by Kurt Schilling, followed up by Todd McFarlane and Ken Rolston, who's better known for Elder Scrolls fame. Now, this was a game that had a lot going for it. It was a pretty big sell at the time, but it kind of fell flat at launch. We'll find out why. So we'll do our basics here. We got our attacks, which are X is your primary attack, and then you've got A, which does the actions, when talking to people and things like that. You've got Y, which is your secondary weapon. Right now it's a bow, so you do Y for your secondary. Then you've got your right trigger, which shows you your magic spells. Right now all I've got is a lightning bolt, so I can hit X while I'm holding down the trigger for that. And you've got shield, which is right trigger. That's it's kind of odd. It's weird the way they did that. But you hold it down. Basically, that's it. You can get different shields as you go along. And here's your left bumper. This is your potions wheel. Like most games, it's typical fanfare type of stuff. You just hold the button down and figure out what you want to use at the time. So now here's the thing that drives me absolutely crazy. There is no jump in the game. There's a dodge roll by hitting B and moving in the direction. You got a dodge roll. But you don't have a typical jump. As a matter of fact, the only time you can jump in this game is when you do this. Find an area to jump off of. Not a clue why anybody would do this in a game, especially the year that this game came out. It's just very old hat. I don't know. I've just never understood it, and I don't agree with it in any game. Hey, look, cool, we found something. So now we found something, so we open up our inventory by hitting start. I do like the inventory. It's very streamlined and simplistic. It's just very, everything you need is under start. You don't have to hit a whole bunch of other buttons to get where you want to go. So you see the stars are telling me that I've got something for each one of these. Inventory, armor, and it shows me that I have a, oh, there it is, sturdy buckler, which is, if I hit the X button, it compares, and it's better than what I'm carrying right now. 5 armor, and I've got a socket that I can do for it, and all that good stuff. Notice the art style in this. Todd McFarlane was one of the people that worked at 38 Studios. He was brought in and in charge of I think the art department itself, considering he's a comic book artist. But you can see a lot of McFarlane in this, and painfully enough, you can also see a lot of World of Warcraft in this, even though they said they weren't going that route.
She vested Thrang in combat fair, Fenian cycles kept. The exploits of this maiden's role, a burdensome and heavy toll. She lived among the mortal clans and bargained with their kind. Throughout the town they stood in fear of the brilliant fighter near.
Huh?
I don't know if what the Fae say about these stones is true, but if it is, well, this is just too good to not save forever. Lystrom was out of town when Artol was visiting. Now, Lystrom doesn't know Artol, and Artol is old and strange. She could...
We'll get into a little combat here. I'll show you how some of this stuff works. Hit him with electricity, then burn him with fire. Now, another one that I absolutely hate. You see how that camera angle pulls out from me? When there's multiple enemies on the screen, it does this jarring, annoying motion where it pulls you out way far back, camera angle. I don't know if it's doing that so you can see everything, but it's... wow, it's really jarring. This is definitely where the game excels in all things, is just how satisfying the combat is. Just really, really good. Combat is just... it definitely makes up for a lot of shortcomings in this game. Nice view you have here.
Now you probably think I'm bashing the game. I'm really not. It's a really good game. It's very solid. The control scheme on this game is phenomenal. It's tight. It's really good. The controls are amazing. The problem I have with the game was, at the time that it was sold to us, there was a lot of promises made. And I think when you get guys like Kurt Schilling and Todd McFarlane and Ken Rolston all in the same room, there's going to be a lot of problems with ego. And ego built this game, but inevitably the ego kind of is what took it down, considering 38 Studios no longer exists. Shortly after this game was launched, it went under. And it was a shame, because this was supposed to be followed up by a big, epic MMO. Its time came and it went. Would I say to buy it today? Yeah, you can probably find it at a GameStop for $10 or $15, something like that. That is definitely worth a buy. At launch, when the game came out for $60, not really.
I mean, after running around for a little bit, you can definitely see, I mean, the game is beautiful. It really is. They put a lot of work into it, but it just... there's something... as you play, there's just something missing. Little things that just didn't quite make any sense.
You! I remember you.
You can never forget. He must never eat chicken. And once in a while, you will need to peck at things on the ground, and every morning at the break of dawn, you should have seen it. A rooster, she said, will change into a man, and this man will become your lover. He will provide for you. And
this is why this game, I think, might have kind of botched at some point. You know, it's beautiful, but it's so limiting in the way it works. There's an invisible wall here, so I've got all this beauty that I can't really play with, play in, jump out. I can dive all I want, but I'm never going to get into that water. Is it a big deal that I get into the water? Not really, but when you can't get in and you can tell it's limiting, that's where the game kind of takes that turn. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about as far as cutting corners or just not thinking ahead. I don't know, but I'm surrounded by water and I see that little swirl in the water there and I want to go to it. Why? For the love of God, why? So I literally have to go and find a place to step into the water. I just don't get this way of thinking. Another thing that's really neat about this part of it is when you can open up your inventory. And once you open your inventory, as you're going through the world or whatever, and you pick up stuff, you open up your inventory. Let's say weapons. Actually, I already got rid of those. Let's say this stuff here, your armor. Well, you see the Y button down there. Add to junk. See, so I'm not wearing any of this. Put it in junk. Gauntlets, put it in junk. So I put all this stuff in junk. And then when I'm ready, just go on up and talk to her.
Welcome to Goreheart, the last settlement before the Feylands. How can I fill your pack today?
Go to shop. And sell all junk. Why? Just that simple. So here we have a part of the game that's actually pretty neat. I mean, we go into crafting. So we got a forge here in this town that I've just gotten into. So you open it up. Now you've got the crafting part or the salvaging part. You can salvage all of your gear instead of selling it if you want. And when you do this, you get components. Just like Skyrim, you to get enough components together, you can create something, a weapon or clothing or whatever you need.
Well, that's going to do it for this one. It's worth a buy now. It really is. In retrospective, it really is worth a buy. Here's my checklist of what makes a decent RPG or a really good RPG. Even though, you know, it's not up there with some other games, it's got a really good checklist, and it's got fun to be had. It really does. Have a good one. I'll see you on the next episode.
Be mistaken for a fate weaver. So when Lystrom came back to town, here was Artol the Oracular.
I don't even...